Thank you very much for coming by and making the time. Thank you, Zdeněk, for an inspirational talk. So we jump very quickly to Byte. Me, myself, I'm not that interesting, so I'd like to lift up the company and the people that work with me on making Byte basically a reality. So what we do is that we basically exist for a single purpose. We try to inspire professionals to serve a better beverage and a culinary experience. And what it means is that a beverage, what does it mean, better beverage? So we want to be better every day. And from the sustainability perspective, what it means is that also us individual bartenders and restaurateurs and cafe owners, we can actually signal to the market that we actually want to change and we want to be more sustainable. And that's why companies like EcoSpirits, Avalon, and Byte are here. And then we want to elevate the serving from being a standardized, just a bottled beverage, to be a culinary experience, to stand right next to the food being served as in a right of its own. As this is a beautiful drink that's been crafted behind a bar, no matter what kind of place you are, small or big, professional or not, we want to elevate the drink out of a bottle into the hands of the craftsman. So that's pretty much what we do. And we do that through ingredients that we develop with leading professionals. So every one of our product is made with a bartender, a bar, a restaurant in Copenhagen. And what we do when we approach every flavor development is that we look at the sustainability for the planet, for the business, and then for the guest, again, the culinary experience. So increasing productivity through waste reduction. What does it pretty much mean? Well, by decoding these words, I figured out it actually means how do we make more money without, killing the planet and the people on it. So that's what it means. And then you're a small entrepreneur. How do we change that? And just to setting the baseline of what it actually means, doing something good, is that sustainability needs to have three aspects: economical, social, and environmental. And only when these three basically parameters are met, we can then think further, and then we can improve the industry and signal through our buying behavior to the big brands. So you heard Zdeněk that Pernod Ricard, Diageo, Bacardi, Beam Suntory, like everyone is thinking about this. And that's because us in this room have decided to make smarter decisions and pretty much vote with our money that we need that change. And I mean, if we don't change, then it's a game over. So what is a social, and how can you think about it in a bar setting, in a restaurant setting? So when you're thinking about social sustainability, I would suggest you ask yourself, who makes my product? Are these people actually treated well in their work? And do these people make enough living? Because only then, learning number one is that they can think about different things than where does my food come from? And we are talking about rum, cane juice. I don't know if you last time checked, but these countries where the cane is produced are not that developed. You're thinking about, rye, but where is that actually grown? There are great brands, but still you look where are the biggest rye fields in the world, and you sort of can figure out where does the most of the rye come from, right? So let's just think about it if we're buying the right product, because that, again, signals up high, and the decisions are made and influence the whole spectrum of the market. Then we look at the environmental challenges. How is my product packaged? Case in point on the table. How is it transported, and how is it disposed of? So when we start thinking about it in a restaurant or bar setting, then we can actually start having the impact. Economical, that's the money. Well, it's a little bit of a topic that, we all like money, but no one likes to discuss that at the end, only behind the closed doors. But, we can openly say that, money moves the world. And if we don't vote with our money, then, the people who are making decisions, they don't know what to do. They will just continue doing the same old story. So am I paying the right price for the ingredient? Am I capturing the full potential of the partnership? And am I using the full potential of an ingredient? So if someone grows an ingredient, let's say we want to be organic, we want to be raw, we want to propel our bar to the stratosphere, and we are doing hyper-local produce. And then the first thing is who grows it, the second thing, how is it brought to us, and third thing, how do we use it, how do we dispose of it? So are we using the whole ingredient? And get the house in order first, and that way the surroundings will change inevitably. So in Byte, we're actually focusing how can we allow our customers to use the ingredients that we make to their full potential. So we are looking at the planet, at the business, and at it as an experience. So right now, I see maybe 20 people who is buying ingredients. let's say syrups, shrubs, bitters, mixers, sodas? Just raise of hands. All right, just a few. And who's making their own? All right, the same people. Cool. So, so then you have two levels, right? Then you do I cross-use ingredients? Well, do I just have one bottle standing in my speed rack just for that one cocktail? If it's a bestseller, let's say that's a different story if it's the fastest moving cocktail. But does it make sense to have just one product for one thing in the whole restaurant where you're running a service for 100 people at 30 tables? Like, I'll let you answer that. And then, again, when you're making your own ingredients, we encounter a lot that people actually are doing their amazing, delicious lemonade or iced tea or a soda, and they forget to include in their cocktails. So they spend all that time, all those beautiful ingredients for just one thing, making it quite inefficient in a large scale. And then they don't have the buying power with the distributor who brings in the other ingredients for the cocktails, right? So then we sort of switch it around a little bit, make it more efficient. And maybe us in the room, we know what we're talking about, but I've done this 500 times with 500 different restaurants. And I can tell you that it is not, this is a big representation of our industry, but it is not customary to think about these things too much. It's not customary. And then do you work actively with a supplier? So suppliers can change, but we need a signal from users. And then, there's 4 different links. There's a producer, there's a distributor, there's a user, which is the restaurant, and there's a guest, the consumer. So the consumers, they are basically influenced by the government and by, also marketing of the company. So they are changing their behavior, and we can see it. Then the second link goes, third link goes, and then it's us, the manufacturers, the producers. We go the last, and that is a reality. We are the last ones to move, pretty much. And that is, up here we are moving the first, which is unusual. And then the suppliers can innovate. They can innovate, but only if there is that signal. And when we look at if you're making your own ingredients on that side, again, are we then, when we are disposing of all that waste, are we turning it into highly profitable new products? So we're going to bring up some cases. So let's say we are buying ingredients, flavor versus packaging. We are buying a soda. 24 case of soda or a mixer is 3.8 kilos of glass, clear glass. All the white glass is a fresh glass, freshly made. 4 kilos of water. So let's call an Italian soda beverage maker. They ship Italian water all around the globe, and they're shipping 7.8 kilos of material you actually have in your bar for 720 grams of actual flavor, of actual syrup or concentrate or cordial. So that's 92% of the 24 pack is single use. 92%. And then we're pretty much paying premium. I've been paying premium when I worked for glass and water. Like 2 resources we can reuse and we have locally available. That's what we're paying for. And how is it productive? How is it reducing the waste? And how does it make any financial sense for a restaurant? Like, it honestly doesn't. Just takes a little bit of things to do. And then let's say you make your own ingredients, and I'm going to bring up some cases from us as a manufacturer, how we actually solve these issues of us, because we do produce tons of waste. But we really want to be on the edge of innovation in the beverage industry, and we want to show, or we want to capture also industrial, organic, and beverage waste. So we're developing different ways of how to streamline that for bigger producers. So let's take citrus in general. You use it for acid, you use it for let's say syrup, for flavors, in 2 cases. So peels after extraction, maybe you have thought of that, maybe not, but we have developed a lemon peel vinegar that can actually be used in cocktails and stuff. It still has a strong scent. So if you haven't extracted all the volatiles, you haven't extracted all the fats from it, it will still retain the flavor. You just need to find a good solvent that's going to actually eat through the peel and is going to absorb it inside of the new liquid. And vinegar, because of the low pH, actually turns out is going to destroy the whole thing and break it down to molecules, and it's going to absorb a lot of that flavor. So when you're serving a cocktail, you'll get that nose of lemon, even if it's in a nice. We do it on a pear vinegar, which is from our local farm near Copenhagen. And then applications in the kitchen. You have the kitchen in a bag. They're definitely buying vinegar for sauces and salsas and salads. So let's just take those peels and infuse it. Grapefruit, lime, lemon, yuzu, everything goes in the vinegar. It's very easy, very straightforward. Then the second thing we found out is that we made lemon curd. So in our production, when you walk to the production, you find chefs from the local restaurants, you find bartenders from the local restaurants in Copenhagen. We all try to work together to make it better. We found a bakery chain that actually is buying for 30 bakeries our waste that we actually make with local chefs into ingredients. They put it in croissants, we have very specific pastry in Denmark, so let's call it Danish pastry. They put it in Danish pastry. So there you go, and you actually use the whole lemon. So, and then you see it here on the left side is the lemon paste. In the middle is the lemon peel vinegar that's in 60 stores actually, and then in the middle is the product. In the middle is the product. So that's the bun with grapefruit peels on top. It's candied peels because when you're actually making syrup, it's a process of candying peels. And a lot of manufacturers actually candy peels. So have you ever heard of panettone? Good. It's fresh peels put inside of a panettone. And then, you cook the peels, they absorb the sugar or glucose syrup, and then you put them in panettone. There's no sane reason to do that. You can actually make a syrup out of them, then chop them up and use them in panettone. We have that on a menu in some of the best bakeries in Copenhagen. So it's one case. Raspberry and strawberry. So we actually press berries on one side. We get the juice. We use that in the syrup, and then the mash that's left over, we actually use in a jam. And we sell it to these 30 bakeries, but right now we have like order of 2 tons of this, and it's winter now, so there's no strawberries coming from Denmark, or raspberries for that matter. And when we're talking about flavor, you see the difference between a actually strawberry taste and let's say strawberry flavoring. So when you look at a bottle of anything that you see and you see a strawberry flavor or any kind of flavor whatsoever, that's pretty much you need 7 molecules of an ingredient to recognize it's an ingredient. It's a lemon, or it's a strawberry, it's a pineapple. When you're actually doing a raw ingredient infusion, extraction, maceration, you extract in all the flavor points. So that's why your homemade stuff tastes so much better than a purchased stuff. And then herbs and spices, we made this organic kombucha out of all the inedible spices. So we are using juniper. You don't really eat juniper. We are using vermouth, Artemisia absinthium. You don't really eat that, it's poisonous. But when you infuse it and you control the infusion, how much of that extract you're getting in, you actually control the level of toujon. That's the one you're looking after. And then when you ferment it, you totally break it down, so actually anyone can eat that afterwards. And a byproduct of that is a kombucha. So, and then all of the herbs that we make a balanced kombucha out of it, and that's from our alcohol-free spirit called an aperitivo. So that's basically a organic and a zero-waste alcohol-free spirit. Alcohol-free spirits are a pretty trending category, so this right here is a zero-waste and organic. And then the garnishes you see, and that's a very interesting one. So we do a lot of drying, and there you have different sprays. We do a lot of sprays from spices, and we do a lot of powders from different coloring plants. Especially the red is very sought after because it catches the eye, and a red is hard to replicate. So as a food coloring, your hibiscus, it's a big friend. And the kitchen is always going to be happy when they can sprinkle some hibiscus, let's say on the tartare, as a garnish to make it nice on a plate. And you've used it twice, and you charge for it as a premium, high quality product to your guest, which has been actually made responsibly and usefully for you. Thank you very much.